There are many people who live in India, and all these many people actually believe that there is this higher force because they are brought up believing in it. And so this collective consciousness of this subcontinent is so strong that whenever you step into it, it touches you. And you cannot help but actually at least consider it.
I have no idea what she's talking about. I've never been to India. I just think it's all about love. You know? I think that's what comes through the water.
Oh yeah, I should talk about that.
To me, it seems the purpose of life is to realize the consciousness of the divine cosmic love within ourselves. And once one is there and doing that, you see it in everyone else, in everything else, in every object, in every plant. All has that flow of the divine consciousness.
There's a common thread that exists between everything. There's a native term, and it's called Iktomi-Wakan, or the sacred spider. Its web explains everything is connected.
If we can see divine consciousness in anyone and anything, then we necessarily will love that thing, that person, that event, that moment. So once you find your own source of consciousness, then you are actually plugged into the consciousness of the totality, or what some people call cosmic consciousness, or spiritual awareness.
One of the key elements in our reality at this point is to be in the act of giving, and giving would be the key to replenish the spirit of our nature and heal the world.
To give visual, physical substance to those invisible bonds that connect each one of us and remind us that we are all sharing this experience and this consciousness together.
It's more like an individual awareness that is necessary to bring this forth.
And the more one gets into that awareness, then the more one recognizes it in everyone else.
It serves to work to elevate people to a higher state of mind.
Experiencing that unknown, tapping into the source of all being and becoming one with everything. Do you have a story to share?
Yeah, I have several stories to share. I have found that yes, one can get to a place in consciousness where light and wisdom does come flowing in. And how to explain what that place is of course a mystery to any creative person. And the reason why we would do these things and create these things is to try to express that experience. And of course we can never perfectly express that, but yet the desire to share it and express it with our fellow humans so that they can have the experience themselves is one of the driving forces, I think, of the creative process.
So yeah, art becomes the doorway between worlds.
Being in a heart consciousness, a pure awareness that we can all have by living in the heart space. Just by centering ourselves in our heart and flowing. And so you are almost remembering it, tuning into the moment, being in the now, and remembering what you already possess within yourself.
It's almost like I'm pushing through a veil, and all of a sudden I'm in this other reality, and that becomes a journey in itself.
This is called The Birth of a Planet. And this painting came through very intuitively and just very magically. And I had a very amazing experience when I finished this painting. I was painting in this flow of divine union at sunrise, where the lotus and the lattice work going to the galactic center is how I interpreted it.
I definitely feel invigorated and inspired greatly to paint a lot, but even not as much as I would like to at all, but to connect people, to be a bridge builder, because it's so great to see people come together and feel excited and inspired and see people making beautiful things. It's going to be beautiful to see how it all comes together, and I see it all coming together more and more, and it is, and it's perfect now where we're at.
Each one of us wants to live our life to the fullest, whatever that is, and it's our duty to ourselves to take a good long look and see what it is we really are all about, and what it is we all want to do, and what we want to pursue with the time we have here on the planet, and what it is that gives us pleasure in the ultimate and cosmological sense of that word, what it is that really fills our soul with delight, and that if we can focus ourselves to look within and find out what it is that fulfills those things, and then pursue it actively, I think that's about the most we can hope for. And I think if we do that properly, we're going to see that helping our brothers and sisters to do the same thing is a big part of this delightful experience we call living.
As a visionary and artist, I'm representing my fullest potential as a creative individual as a reflection to activate other individuals to participate in this creativity. Our Earth at the moment seems like it's ailing, but that is a perception of our reality, a clouded perception of our collective reality as a culture. We need to move out of this stage of reacting and expecting for things to be given to us or choices to be offered to us. We need to focus on the offering of ourselves. It is the one thing that's making the world off balance as we speak. It isn't until each individual is nurtured to give of themselves that balance is going to be restored on this earth.
Deep down, we're all mainly just little particles and energy flow. Electrons, neutrons, protons, and that is the essence of our life. We're just hardly any matter and mainly energy, and it's about charging that energy with positive vibes.
We, at this stage in evolution, as creative individuals and artists, musicians, and such, have been granted the challenge to bring forth the awareness of forgiveness and openness, and create a myth that allows all the different myths before us to coexist. It is a great challenge, but the best challenge we could ever be granted. For all religions and all beliefs and all governments to be in accordance with each other. Because this is possible.
How do you get people to come to their own awareness? You know, because you can't make them, you can't propagandize, but everyone does. And for awareness or transformation to truly happen, it has to be, voluntary from within the individual, and the realization, wow, that's something.
All of these altered states of consciousness are available to all people through non-drug means, or are there certain experiences and states of consciousness that are available only through the lens of a certain entheogen? Thank you.
Well, I think that there are individual differences. That means there are people for whom it's very difficult to access these states. For other people, it's very easy, to the point that they don't have to do anything. It happens in the middle of everyday life. They might be even fighting it, and it's happening. On the other side of the spectrum, I had a situation with a patient who was obsessive compulsive, very, very severe. And we started with 100 micrograms. This was Sandoz, pure LSD. Went to 200, no response, 500, 1,000, and I finally ended giving him 1,500 micrograms intramuscularly. And between the second and the third hour, when this session was supposed to culminate, he felt bored and a little hungry, and so he went. He got something to eat, and on the way back to the treatment room, he saw some people playing chess and sort of joined them. And it took 35 sessions before he started going back to childhood and started having more experiences that other people were having. There were also patients, the hysterical patients on the other side of the spectrum, where 50 milligrams could be like a full-blown experience. So I think what we are talking primarily about is the relationship between the unconscious and the defenses that are, individually very different.
So to bring in this whole idea of using psychedelics or entheogens as substances, one of the greatest uses for them is to get to this realization of the oneness of consciousness. And so I think historically for the Western people, Europeans, Americans, and other people who have a Western style of living, who had lost magic and lost spiritual in their daily lives, that various psychedelic experiences produced either from plants or from other chemistry has opened the door to realize that consciousness is a continuum, it's not isolated.
The mystery, I believe, is not to be solved, but it is to be lived.
Yeah, it's to be experienced.
To be experienced again and again.
cha nó cha đó đông đông tim mê ha 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 ha.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ những video hấp dẫn